Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, wherever you are. I think it's a good time for us to start. And I am here with my colleague, Takayuki Hara, who is from the admissions team. My name is Susan Babai. I'm a professor of Islamic and Persian arts at the Courtauld and the head of graduate diploma program. And I invite Taka to introduce himself as well.
Hi everybody, my name is Takayuki Hara. I'm the admissions officer at the Courtauld. I would later talk about applications and entry requirements, and we're just going to have Q&A at the end of the session. I'm just going to pass back to you, Susan.
Okay, thank you. So yes, what the session is about essentially giving you an overview of what the graduate diploma program is about, and indeed helping you with any questions you might have. And Taka will talk about the admissions process and requirements at the end. And then we open it to Q&A, and I invite you to write your questions in the chat box, and I will read them and we will discuss them at the end of this presentation. So I'd like to start the presentation by essentially talking about the graduate diploma program in the history of art, with an understanding that this is about next year, 2022-23, and that some of the schedule of things that I will introduce to you are only for information at this moment. In other words, it's meant to help you have a sense of the rhythm of work as a graduate diploma student at the Courtauld. So to give you an overview, the program consists of two major parts, the taught courses and the independent research that you will do towards the end of your year as the graduate diploma student. The taught courses are divided into two types of courses, and these are the required ones. These are mandatory, so to speak, to meet the requirements for the graduate diploma. And I'll speak in a moment about the other lectures to which you're, of course, not only welcome, but some of them we encourage you to take as well. So the core modules are the foundations in two terms, 1 and 2, which are a series of lectures dealing with different themes, issues in history of art, and it covers from late antiquity to the present day in contemporary art, in other words, and has a very broad reach geographically. It's very much a world art history thinking, as the Courtauld is poised very prominently in those terms as well. The foundations runs in these two parts, semester 1 and 2, autumn and then spring semesters, and it is consists of 3 blocks of lectures per semester. Each of these blocks of lectures take 6 lectures essentially, take a more slow pace, if you will, approach to a subject, the theme, the material of that particular block, allowing for students to gain a better, deeper understanding of the themes and subjects that the course is covering. This is not a survey course, but it is foundational to art history, and it helps the students to gain access to not only the art historical material in terms of historiography, research agendas, different directions that study of a particular theme has gone, but also very basic material, facts, and so forth, and most importantly, to learn how to look, how to develop their own arguments, and really gain the skills as an art historian. Graduate diploma students come from other fields, and this whole year is designed to help them transition into art history, writing about art history, thinking about works of art, learning closely, gain confidence in doing so. And these courses collectively help you to gain those skills necessary to enter art history as a field, or pursue the matter even further. In general, the core modules, the foundations modules, are scheduled weekly. As I said, 3 lectures per week and 1 discussion class. These discussion classes are small, usually about 15 students per class, and allows for you to have those conversations that deepen the understanding of the material. And the foundations are assessed by way of 2 essays, 2,500 words each, and so 1 per semester, which then are delivered at the end of each of those semesters. The other taught course component of the graduate diploma, also divided between autumn and spring semesters, is a course type we call Constellations. There's Constellation Module 1, which is in the autumn term or semester, and the Spring Constellations module. These are generally more specific topics or themes, particular historical and geographical terrains. And the lecture part, there are 2 parts to these constellations. One is the lectures, which are 2 lectures per week, and then a seminar component, which is not just about the lectures, but rather the seminar is a complementary part of learning about that same general topic. And so the seminar part is once a week, and the constellation modules are assessed by way of an exam. And these exams are at the beginning of the 2nd semester, or as it were, in January and then in May. So you finish the semester and you have a break in the January or the holidays over December, early January, and you come back to take those exams. And then in the spring constellation module, you return after the spring break to take the exam in May. And finally, it's the independent research part that is a major component of your degree. And that's a 5,000 word assessed essay, which is usually drafted over the spring break and is submitted in May. And in fact, this part is really where you show your skills as you have gained them over the course of the 2 semesters of coursework. You choose the subject, you drive this particular research project independently, but with support of 2 meetings with a supervisor, which are meant to really guide you through your project. So the final degree of the graduate diploma consists of these segments of the pie, if you will. 20% goes towards the foundations, 25% each of the constellations modules, and 30% for the assessed essay at the end. So just to give you some sort of sense of what the courses are like, what these modules are like, what your semesters look like, I wanted to just give you a sense of the topics that were covered in this year's foundations, which is we are transitioning from a term system to a semester system. And we are convinced that this is a very good transition. It will be very helpful to the students in terms of how they also cover material very productively in these 3 blocks of lectures per semester of the foundations. So the topics that you might be encountering in the foundations blocks of lectures may vary from late classical and Byzantine art to Renaissance to early modern period, and Chinese arts, Persian arts, issues related to civil rights and Black Power, media and globalized art world, and so forth. So it's a very wide range of material. And as I said, it's not a survey. It's meant to really help you gain access to some of the principles and major fields of inquiry in art history, essentially. The Constellations modules run 3 per semester. You will be allocated to one of these per semester. And you are indeed welcome to audit lectures from the other modules if you wish. The thing is that no seminar component of any of our courses are open to students who are not registered for that course. So that way we protect the sort of intimacy and close working that is part of our teaching method. And so the seminars remain sort of sealed for only those circa 15 people who are assigned to a seminar. But the Constellation modules in their lecture part are open to everyone, including our MAs and PhDs. Anyone of our students can attend them, and we encourage you to do so. But the Constellation modules that you will find next year will be from a selection not unlike what you have or what we have this year on offer. Image making and the medieval imagination, competing ventures, which is about the construction of notions of European empires in the early modern period, Cold War cultures, and in the spring term this year, we have art, travel, and imagination in the Middle Ages, landscape and environment in early modern China, and the modern interior. These are not exactly the same next year, but it gives you a sample of the courses that we offer, these modules that we offer. In addition to your foundations lectures and seminar and your Constellations module, which has lectures twice a week and a seminar, you also attend research forum lectures. Our research forum is our sort of extra special, very richly programmed venue for bringing in topics that we are interested in, but we don't represent. We have speakers from across the globe, world-class speakers, artists, scholars, conservators, curators, heritage experts, and so forth. And I actually encourage you to join the Research Forum events. You can sign up and attend these symposia, lectures, individual lectures, series, and so forth. They're absolutely fantastic and very well subscribed, and we encourage our students, all of them, to attend Research Forum events. The other things you can attend, and we encourage you to do so, are the BA lecture series, which take place in the lecture theatre. including frameworks lectures, which are an introduction to methodologies, critical thinking, essentially. And I highlighted this because we highly recommend that you attend those lectures, which are timed so that they don't coincide with your foundations lectures or Constellations lectures either. And indeed, you're welcome to join other Constellation modules lectures as well. Now, something about workload and deadlines. As I said, these are for the 21-22 program this year, this academic year, but it's a sample and only to give you a sense of the sort of the rhythm of not only a weekly schedule of work, but also the sort of the whole year's schedule of work. And to be alert to the fact that this is a full-time course that you are you're assured that you would get for each or you want to commit yourself to about 4 hours of personal study for every hour of taught time. In other words, you will spend an additional 4 hours per hour of sitting in a classroom for reading, writing, presentation preparations and the like. So it's part of the coursework in general. And then these are the kinds of deadlines that you will have for formative work, that is presentations, Constellations course or module essays, and the dates that are as well oftentimes set by individual course tutors, which are not in this schedule. But what you see is essentially your foundation essays 1 and 2 at the end of each semester. We require an assessed essay title, which basically says what's your project about, your research project, before you get your supervisors. And you have usually the chance to ask for certain supervisors. And then we will make sure that the right supervisor is assigned to each of these assessed essays. Then your assessed essay, which comes in May, and indeed your exams for the 2 Constellations modules, which happen at the beginning of the spring semester before the semester begins officially, and at the beginning of what is the assessment period, if you will, after the holidays, spring holidays in May, in fact. So what's next is always a very important part of the graduate diploma program, and very important to the students as they transition through this program. So we consider this, as you do, as a path towards a career change, essentially. But it may very well be something other than an ambition about another career. And all of that should be, in fact, satisfied in the process of taking the course. I've taught a lot of graduate diploma students in the past, and I do now, as the head of the program, advise them. And it's enormously enjoyable to get back into schooling, actually, and to formally re-enter a new program and also a new field of study. Our students have gone on to, and I have had, for instance, many of them in my MA courses. Our MAs are structured as special options. Some of those MAs continue to PhDs, which is either at the Courtauld or elsewhere. Again, a very successful sort of a transition, if you will. The graduate diploma is very productive in helping those who wish to pursue to academic teaching and research careers in the future to go through this and to continue into MA and PhD. Many of our students in the past have transitioned into jobs in the art sector, in the art world, auction houses, dealers or dealerships, and journalism, editing, gallery education, curatorial positions, or they have indeed returned to their previous jobs with new sets of skills and knowledge and so forth. Volunteering roles, obviously, and indeed whatever that pleases you as you move forward from here. So with that in mind, I'd like to invite Taka now to come in into focus, if you would.
Yep.
And perhaps discuss a little bit about the application process. And then afterwards, we will move on to thinking about or answering your questions.
Thank you very much, Susanne. So I'm just going to take over from now. So I'm going to talk about applications and the entry requirements. So our applications are not currently open. Unfortunately, we are finalizing a few last details of the application portal. And we are really hoping to open applications within 2 weeks' time. If you haven't signed up for the pre-application letters by booking this event, you can still do so by going to the course page of Graduate Diploma, and at the very bottom of the course page, there's a sort of button you can click to sign up for the pre-application letter. That way, we could actually let you know when applications are open. So if you don't want to, here you can actually see the link in the chat box. So you can actually go to that page and sign up for the pre-application letter if you'd like to be notified. The deadline for the graduate diploma in the History of Art program is 15th of April. It's a lot later, partly because some applicants want to apply for the MA History of Art as well as the graduate diploma course. So we had the deadline quite late to just have everybody so everybody can actually submit their applications. So the entry requirements for this program is the successful applicants have typically achieved a high 2-1 in their bachelor's degree. So it's about to be 65% of your degree, of the grade. We do not sort of restrict the subject matters. You can, you could have actually obtained a degree in management or like business or any other degrees. This program is designed to teach somebody who's actually obtaining a bachelor's degree in other disciplines. So feel welcome to apply, even if you are new to the sort of world of history of art. If you are international students, this equivalent of 2-1, high 2-1, it's normally GPA 3.5. If you're not 100% sure if you are eligible, you can always actually send us an email. We're going to have the my email address later after this session. So moving on to the English language. If your first language is not English, you would need to submit proof of English language test. We accept IELTS and the Cambridge Advanced Test and the Cambridge Proficiency Test. If you have obtained a degree from majority English-speaking countries such as UK or USA, you don't have to submit English test results. If you are currently studying in the majority English speaking countries. All you need to do is to submit your interim transcript. Then when we make an offer, we actually make a conditional offer for you to complete that degree, and that degree in obtained in the majority English speaking countries would verify your English language requirements. Talking about finance to support this program, unfortunately, students on this course are not eligible for a student loan from the UK government, partly because this program is a bridging sort of course. So the nature of this program is to bridge from level 5 to level 6. So unfortunately, just the government's actually not supporting the students studying on this program, and unfortunately there is no scholarships allocated for this program either, so the students must be self-funded. I think that is from me, and then I'm just going to pass it back to Susanne. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks very much, Taka. And here are our names and the email addresses to which you can address your questions, especially with regards to admissions and enrollment, in which case Taka would be best positioned to answer those. And now what I would like to do is stop sharing the screen so the two of us are here now visible to you. And I'm going to read the questions that you have written in the chat, and thank you for doing that. So now I have a couple of basically comments or questions. Quickly, I can go through. Tom has written that he basically guesses right that the time required per week of work towards the program is about 40 hours per week, which is correct. It's the number of hours of taught modules, and then about 4 hours of work towards those as well. Julian asked if we are face-to-face. We are now teaching face-to-face actually. And if all goes well, we can continue. We love being back together and with our students. So let's hope that's continuing. So Julian also asks, and Taka, I think you can answer this. He struggles to locate his degree certificate from 35 years ago. Is that a problem?
So we need some sort of proof that you have actually obtained a degree. So if it's actually 35 years ago, you can either submit your degree diploma, and we can sort of overlook the transcript bit. If you find it difficult to find any proof, please do feel free to actually contact me. I'm just going to see what we can do about it. But a lot of universities do have the record. But 35 years ago, it might be quite difficult, but they can always actually write a letter that you have actually registered on the course, and then you completed that course. So if you can't actually locate your transcript or diploma, you might have to actually contact your university.
Yeah. And another question has to do with exam hall for taking exams with pen and paper. Let's hope that's what we end up doing again, because during the pandemic, it was take home and on laptops typed up and turned back to us. The deadline for admission for 22-23, Taka?
Yeah, that's 15th of April 2022.
Yeah. So Mark asks about how much of the course can be done online. Attendance on site could be a lot of problems for Mark. And I'm sure many graduate diploma students actually have families and sometimes keep a job still alive. We don't teach online. This is not an online course or a degree. So we happen, like everyone else, to do so during the pandemic where we taught online, but that's not the norm. And already we made, obviously for very clear reasons, we did provide students in the first week or two means to join us online, or we streamed or recorded or conducted via Zoom, just so that students can make it back. Some needed visas were late. In some cases, they needed to be in self-isolation for the first 2 weeks, but this is not an online course. So we expect students to be present, unless, of course, something else happens. Let's hope that doesn't happen. It's on-site, essentially. So thank you. Actually, my colleague says that you can sign up for the newsletter, and there is a link there for you. And you have PG admissions, courtauld.ac.uk for TACA and admissions. So Tom says, what if your degree was some time ago? Okay, so again, professional qualifications as against degree sort of evidence.
Yeah, shall I come in? We do need an academic transcript or diploma. One of the requirements for application is actually transcript, but if it was some time ago, you might find it difficult to actually retrieve your transcript. We actually, if that's the case, we are fine with just getting a diploma, but it has to be academic, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And Karen asks if one can do semester 1 in year 1 and semester 2 in year 2. No, it's a year-long, a single-year program. So we require the graduate diploma to be completed at the end of the second semester of that same year. Susan asks what percentage of applicants are accepted to the graduate diploma program. Taka, that's a question for you.
Percentage of applicants. So we receive about 80 something probably applications for the place of less than 30. So last year we took about 28 students. So
about 1/3, no?
Yeah, so it's sort of, yeah, around that sort of percentage,
Yeah.
I would say, yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Susan, for your comment as well. Another question is graduate diploma versus MA History of Art, which is best route for mature students with postgrad degrees already in perhaps related fields, for example, history. In fact, what we recommend for related fields do have, let's say you have a BA in history or literature or anthropology, fields that are within the humanities family. You could apply for the MA, and the MA option to which you apply, the course tutor will determine whether you are indeed ready to join an MA group, or if they think you should apply for the graduate diploma. If you you are pondering whether a degree already in a related field could be potentially sufficient entry point for MA, you should definitely explore that one. But if your field is far away from such sister fields, then definitely the graduate diploma is the way to go. I hope that answers your question. Darren, all lectures are in person. Everything is in person. We are not doing online at all, unless we are forced to do so. So we always have taught in person. We depend on going to museums together, going to galleries together, and we continue to do in person. So Somerset House or King's Cross, not yet in Somerset House, but thank you for bringing it up, because Somerset House is home. It's our home, basically home for the Courtauld. The gallery is opening in just about 2 weeks' time. We invite you to come and visit the gallery, which looks absolutely fantastic. I've had the preview, and I can assure you, if you know that gallery, you will be thrilled to see it in this new and really strikingly beautiful revamp. If you have never been there, well, you see a fantastic gallery with amazing works of art on display. So please do consider coming there. But our teaching continues to be stationed at Vernon Square in King's Cross, where we are fully equipped to teach very happily, actually. All the faculty have their offices at Vernon Square. So we are all sort of in the midst of student body. The library is there. All the necessary student services are there. So we shall continue at Vernon Square until when we are ready with the east wing of the Somerset House to receive us as the university side of the Courtauld. So Taka, there's a question here for you. Some students want to apply to both programs, that is graduate diploma and MA, which is why applications are open until April. That's your answer to them as well.
Yep. So the answer is yes.
Yeah, I just wanted for everyone to be alerted to it.
Yep.
So you could apply for the MA, and then you will be directed perhaps to the graduate diploma program.
Yeah, or they can actually make 2 applications at the same time. That's absolutely fine. Yeah.
All right. So if you're a UK national, already hold a postgraduate qualification such as an MA from another UK institution, would your fees for the course be higher, equivalent to those of an international student?
If you are qualified for a home fees, which is the UK national, residing in the UK for like past 3 years before the course start date, your previous qualification does not affect your fees at all. So the answer is, suppose this person is qualified for a home student fee, the answer is no, it doesn't actually matter.
Yeah. So Federico has a question, which I think I'd like to elaborate on it. Graduate diploma program is a transitional program for those, it's the bridge, as Taka said, for those who have had no background in art history or related fields. So if your undergraduate has been in chemistry, you really are not ready to enter into art history or curating as such. The skills required to do the MAs in art history or MA in curating the art museum do require either art history or related fields in the humanities. As I said, that's to the discretion of the course tutors to decide whether you are indeed able and qualified to enter those MA courses. So it's very different program, really. Graduate diploma is a very different structure, a different course. It's a different training period. And so it's better to not think of them as one and the same. In other words, two different equal options, but rather to think in terms of what is your background and how that might fit or not fit into an MA if that's what you are interested in. So how does a graduate diploma graduate student move to a curatorial position? How easy is the transition? Positions are limited. Indeed, this is a difficult case. I mean, we can't really guarantee anything, obviously. A graduate diploma has skills that would equip them to enter, let's say, positions that would be curating, but perhaps not in a museum, a major museum, but galleries and smaller museums, perhaps. But how easy is it or how difficult? It's really difficult to tell. It depends on the target institution, place you're aiming to apply for. So Laura asks or says, I don't have a BA in art history. Do you have a reading list which helps me to prepare for this degree? Once you have been admitted or have applied and admitted into the program, we do give you a reading list, which I have revamped last year. It's a pretty good reading list. But one of the things that I could recommend to you is, in fact, read general art history books if you are interested in just starting to read things. And areas that you're interested in, actually. There are a series of books. I don't get any commission for saying this from Phaidon, but Phaidon has these books which are introductions to different fields, introductions to Byzantine art, to Roman art, to Renaissance art, to Northern Renaissance art, to Islamic arts. So you can start by reading some of these general introductions, of which there's plenty actually there. Ariel asks if graduate diploma is suitable for university graduates who minored in art history during their undergraduate years. It depends on what was your major. Obviously, this is an American system of major and minor fields, and it may very well be that your minor in art history is strengthened by a major, say, in anthropology or literature, and in that case, you should apply for the MA and the graduate diploma. But yes, by all means, if you feel that you have had the necessary background in the field, you should definitely give it a try. So are the exam essays based on testing knowledge, memory of the topic, or ability to interpret, express viewpoints, or both? That's easy to answer. It's both. And it's really both how much knowledge you have acquired, how much you know about a subject, but also how well you can basically engage in a critical way of thinking in scholarship and so forth. So Mana asks or says, I'm completing BA History and Sociology. Should I apply for MA History of Art or grad diploma? This question, again, is about, it's not a one way or another. It's not this one or that one. As Taka said, you can apply for both of them. The thing to remember is that if you apply for an MA, the course tutor to whom you apply for their special option will make that determination whether you're qualified for that MA or not. We can't make that decision for the MAs. Typical fees. This is for you, Taka. Cost given this is self-funded program. Are we covering typical fees?
Are we covering as a Courtauld? No, unfortunately, there is no scholarships for this program. So the students need to actually cover their fees.
I hope that was the question, Darren.
Sorry, just maybe I got that question wrong.
I can't be, you mean covering typical fees? Is it, do we have typical fees? Like as in, are we competitive with others in the industry?
I assume so, yes. I mean,
Yeah.
the graduate diploma, yeah, because it's not, yeah. I think
we
so,
are,
yes.
We always measure in comparison to equivalent programs. So yes, on that level, yes. Then comes, what advice would you give for writing the personal statement, please? What should the focus be? Things to avoid. Do you want to say something about that, Taka?
I think that's probably more for you, Suzanne.
Good point. You know, having served on admissions in the past, and also reading all the personal statements from students who apply for MA, amongst which are students who are better qualified for the graduate diploma, I would say your personal statement should be about why this field matters to you, why you're interested in it, and touch on some of the experiences that are relevant to it. If you have been traveling to see arts, and that doesn't have to be abroad, it doesn't have to be to the Himalayas for us to be impressed. It could also be your local museum gallery, or the kinds of ways that you have really come to engage with works of art. It's about seeing, about looking, it's about thinking about the language of the visual. And we would like to hear about your personal passion. How do you get to this? We also look at your personal statement for, in addition to the fact that you submit a sample writing, we really are looking at your personal statement to see how you put your thoughts into a coherent and sensible argument about why you think you are really qualified, and indeed why you're so interested in this. You know, it's a year of your life, and it's a step towards something bigger, and perhaps you have other plans in mind, and you're paying for it. So your personal statement should be sort of matching that kind of commitment of time, energy, and funds, in fact. So if you hold an MA in an arts-related subject, presumably the degree transcript is less vital, just a certificate. I assume what you mean is a studio art, a fine arts related field. I'm not quite sure if I understand. Taka, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, we still need to actually see your transcript. So if you are out of education for a very long time, we understand that you might not have a transcript. But if you have actually recently graduated, we still like to actually see your transcript, whatever the subject is. I hope that is the answer for this question.
Yeah. Okay. So Again, we are holding the lectures, meetings, everything at the Vernon Square, not at Somerset House, but we will be using the gallery at Somerset House. That's in answer to Olivia. Julian asks, if you're selecting 1/3 of applicants, what are the selection criteria? Taka, should I answer, or do you have some preliminaries on that one?
I think, well, we do assess academic writing skills, and that's actually quite important for the graduate diploma students. And that sort of forms, we do sort of assess application as a whole. So not just your qualifications, but we do assess what you've written for your personal statement, what you've written for your writing sample as well. So all those together, we actually find who's actually best suited for the program, because
Yeah.
graduate diploma is actually quite hard. It's very sort of, it's packed full of lectures and sort of seminars, and the contact time is actually lot more than other sort of programs. So because partly because it's sort of trying to condense all the BA degree into 1 year. So that's a sort of bridging element sort of comes to it. That's probably why we sort of assess academic writing more. Susanne, would you like to add
Yeah, I just was
more?
going to say exactly what you said and add to that the references. And, you know, it's the totality of what comes in,
Yeah.
what you have done in the past, why you're making this transition, what's your commitment to it. It is, as Taka said, you know, a full-on program. You're not on a part-time, slow-moving project. It's intense, and remember, this is to get you from where you are towards this other sort of terrain, art history, the arts sector, and so forth. So we want to make sure that once you finish the program, you're well qualified to move on to an MA and to move on to the jobs in the sector and so forth. So yeah, it's the totality of it, and not one thing over another that creates the sort of the winning card, if you will. A question about a young family who finds it hard if the courses start at 9 a.m. Ordinarily we start courses at 10 a.m. but it's I can't remember the frameworks. Is it at 10 also? It's alternating with the foundations lectures, I think. So
Yeah.
Everything, I think, starts at 10 a.m. in fact.
But I think some Constellation courses they can be quite late in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There are some later in the afternoon. So yeah, you need to sort of think about 10 to 6 around.
Yeah.
Is the time when most courses take place, most lectures take place. The research forum is usually afterward, you know, it's 5:30, 6 o'clock oftentimes. Do you wait until after application closing date in April to inform all candidates of the outcome? Or do you inform as applications are received and considered?
Yeah. So we will wait until 15th of April. So we don't consider any applications before that. Yeah, so just you can send your applications on the day, and that's absolutely fine. So even if you actually apply now, it doesn't actually doesn't matter. That's going to be assessed in April.
Yeah. Okay, the question that has to do with having done art course at the Courtauld. Thank you for your comment on that you have done a year-long course at Sotheby's Institute. All of those, it's up to you. You can make the decision if you want to apply to the MA and the graduate diploma, or the MA, and see what happens from there. Okay. Yeah, I get it. BA in politics 30 years ago, but you know, this is why we have the graduate diploma. So our interviews conducted prior to acceptance. We don't do
not normally, no.
No, we don't do interviews. We really assess on the basis of your applications. When are the students supposed to choose the subject for independent research? This is not during the application. It's during the term, the first semester, that you begin to think about what is your assessed essay about, and you submit a topic. So you generally are following some of your interest on these. And indeed, some of the courses you take will inspire you to think about what your assessed essay topic will be. So what are the usual costs? Taka, you want to answer that?
I think it's the same answered
Yeah, okay, you answered that one. Yeah. Information on costs and diploma. And I think we have answered that one. No, it's on the, you will.
I'm gonna paste the fee page.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Do your interview applicants know? So it looks like we got to the end of the questions, as it were. and did you just post the link for them?
Hold on a second. I'm still trying to do that.
Okay. So there's one more question which has to do with the writing sample. The expectation, is it on the subject and the length? Don't we have a length sort of, you know, we don't want a 100-page writing sample. You're on mute, Taka. You're still on mute.
Sorry, just I'm multitasking. Yes, there's a length. I would actually find it. I think it's 2,000 to 3,000 words, but I'm just going to double check. Just a second.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, it's not a huge thing, but let's put it this way: the length is sufficient for us to see that you can write a research paper, a short research essay, as you will in the course of your modules during the 2 semesters. And the subject is what you choose, what you have done. It's what matters is the way you unfold an argument, the way you show how you look at the subject, how critically you engage with it. It's the argument that comes out to be so important, showing the sort of the intellectual rigor that you bring to a research project that could be short as well. And you have, Taka has put in the link for the tuition fees if you wish to look at it. And otherwise, thank you for all of your questions, comments, and really for joining us in this session. I think if I haven't seen anything further, but I look forward, both of us, all of us look forward to seeing you in person. Obviously not everyone, but really it's a delightful prospect to think of graduate diploma program and its students. So on that final note, thank you very much. And until soon, I hope. Bye, everyone. Bye, Taka.